Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Power Book 2 Go Season 2, Episode 6. There was a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back. We're back with a very enjoyable episode. I will say I really liked a good 85 to 90% of this episode, and let's be honest, we just got done watching the Dexter New Blood finale, and we needed something we enjoyed on this level after that.
We won't give too many spoilers. If you haven't watched the Dexter finale yet, we do have a review up that is filled with spoilers, but we did not like it. It was not good. So if you still haven't watched it yet, or if you have, head over to that video and let us know what you thought of it.
Listen, we needed Tariq and Kane and my guy Cooper Saxe to come in here and make us all feel. But listen, we're gonna get the Cooper Saxe.
Kanan back too.
Yeah, Kanan even made a little bit of it. 50, you may kill off his character, but you can never remove 50 Cent from the Power universe. It is official.
Okay, before we get too much into this, we will be here after every episode on Sundays talking about what's transpired, what's going on, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will also be here for Power Book 4 Force. It is coming up in February. Very exciting. There's lots of little promotions going on. Phone number out there. You can get a message from Tommy. It's so good.
Let me just say a couple of things here about Force. Number one, I really like how you said it because you're like, Force. Very forceful. Second,
it's Tommy. What are you gonna do? You can't give it something that's not forceful.
I may have called that number actually a couple of times. It was like, listen, Tommy, I missed your voice. I needed to hear from you.
They're doing such good promotion with that show. I mean, we were all really excited to have a Tommy spinoff, anyways. But
okay, can we start by getting the 10% I did not like out of the way here right away?
Sure.
I need Carrie to die or go away or something. I
need Carrie.
I'm sick of Carrie. It's just like Carrie was so smug throughout the entirety of this episode, with their first and foremost being like, Tariq will never get out of prison. Tariq is going to spend his life in there. It's like, Carrie, you weren't there when these people died, for starters. You don't know any of this for sure. And last season, you were all up on your high horse, talking all about how, Tariq was misunderstood and he could be this perfect student and all of this. And now you are ready to be the judge, jury, and executioner. Just stop it. Go away, Carrie. I'm done with you. Can we have this actress just go back on This Is Us at this point? Because I liked her character more there.
I like this actress a lot.
Yeah.
On This Is Us. This has not been the role for her. The Carrie character, it just feels like they got this really great actress coming off of This Is Us and an amazing role and great performance. And they were like, man, we've got her now. What are we going to do with her? And they just didn't know what to do with her. It was like, it's like Star Wars.
Okay.
Where they had Natalie Portman.
Oh, yes.
Who is such an incredible actress, Oscar actress here, nominated for all kinds of stuff. And then you get her in Star Wars and you just don't know how to direct her or what to do with her. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, Carrie stinks. All of the scenes with Carrie were not good. I'm done with that character now. It is official.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that do like Lauren. She is not the character for me. I haven't really enjoyed her. However, I will say that the stuff with her in this episode was better than it's been. It makes sense for some of the steps that she's taken. She didn't know what to do. She ended up with this wire. She thought it was going after Brayden. It was actually going after her man.
Yeah.
Now she's realized that she was really tricked by Carrie with a lot of this stuff. She can't get out of it. I mean, even that back and forth with them in Carrie's office where she was like, what are you doing? You tricked me into this.
Yeah.
I know about ZEKE sort of thing. It was really well done. Even her reaction when Tariq was like, why weren't you in court? You weren't there for me. Lauren saying, I just didn't know what to do is a fair, reasonable thing. And then him being like, okay, well, let's go together. We're here now. And her being hesitant also makes sense. This is just not really, this is some heavy things. And I could see that there might be some fans out there that are like, she wasn't loyal. She wasn't this. And I get that, but we got to kind of remember, like, she's a really, really young person.
Yeah.
And then you add on top, it's like a double murder charge. Like, that's a lot for anyone of any age to really look at and look at it completely 100%. You're fine.
Okay, well, this is the difference to me between Lauren and Carrie, because Lauren also irritates me. However, in much of the same way you explain, I can at least understand at least some of where Lauren was coming from within this episode. Like, she's also really, really sheltered from what we've seen on the show so far, so she doesn't understand necessarily all that much when it comes to the real world. So it's like, okay, Lauren, I at least get it. You're not my favorite character. You're kind of a part of that percentage I didn't love. But guess what? You're still infinitely better than Carrie, who seems to like swing a pendulum from one side to the other every few episodes.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the part that I love, and it's everything with Effie. Man, I love this character so much. I love that she showed up at Tariq's room and was like, "Hey, I'm here for you. What can I get for you? Do you need money? What do you need?" The loyalty and friendship that's there. And I know that they hooked up or whatever, but for me, it's the friendship and that understanding of each other is the thing that I had really been kind of missing out of all of Tariq's relationships with women. Like, stuff with Lauren, like, Lauren is never going to really be brought into his world. So she's never going to really understand him. Diana understands him, but at the same time, like, he is just not letting her in, and she's been really thirsty for him, and he's not really giving it back. But Effie is the character that's really like, hey, I get you, but it's also on my terms. So if I want to be with you, I will. But if I don't, I won't. And our friendship is really the main thing. But we also have this working relationship. She's also the person that will just kind of call him out on stuff. Like, we'll get into all the stuff with Brayden, but I love that after the first Brayden fight, she just called him out. Like, well, did you tell him what was going on? Well, no, I didn't. Well, why didn't you? Like, this blame is at your doorstep.
I feel like this is really the first episode this season where Power Book 2 has kind of realized, oh, we actually have this really good character in Effie. Because
she's great.
If we go back to Power, like the original Power, people really liked Effie then. And I remember back, like, before Book 2 even started, there were a lot of, okay, are we going to see Effie? When's Effie going to turn up? And it was like, people really like this character. Why has it been for the first 5 episodes of the season like she mostly just existed as, we had that scene with her and Diana where she offered to sort of help Diana out, but it feels like now this idea of Tariq being arrested and, he's obviously out at this point, but he's got the ankle bracelet. There's only so much he can do, but it's like there's now a real tangible purpose to fully bring Effie more into this world and interact with all these characters. And that just makes me smile because, like you, I think she's really, really good.
Yeah, she's a great character, great actress, great chemistry on screen. She's all around a good character. And it looks like we're going to be getting a lot more of her.
Yes.
Because now it seems that Tariq is going to be working with her and Brayden, and the three of them are really going to be a team. And she knows a lot of the truth of what's been going on with Tariq. And now we're going to talk about Brayden.
Yes.
So Brayden is finally looped in on a lot of stuff, which is good. This has been sort of my complaint about that relationship, is just like a lot of this stuff could have been avoided if both of them had been a little more honest and the conversations had flowed more, which is something that Brayden came and talked to Tariq about and was like, listen, this is what's happened. This is what happened with Kane. I really screwed up by not really having the conversations with you that needed to be had. But this is the part of the blame that is yours. You also didn't have these conversations with me. And Tariq is just blowing it off, being like, well, I told you Kane was bad. Okay, well, why? Why? You need to tell me, because I'm choosing to go into this life. This is what I want for myself. It is who I am. And I love that interaction where Tariq was kind of like, go back to your rich dad and just get a regular job. And Brayden was like, don't act like you didn't have a rich dad too that was just gonna, get you out of the game. You made the choice to be in this game. I am making the choice to be in this game. You can't say that to me. We are in the same spot.
I just really like how they have evolved the Brayden character
Oh,
because, like, back at
it's
the
good.
start of the series, he just felt really corny and they were just, like, giving him just some, like, one liners and, oh, he's just constantly hitting on women and there wasn't as much there. But they've really deepened him and created all these sort of interesting layers where he knows where he is, like, he understands kind of how he can navigate through this business. He does want this life. And we even see him a little bit later on in the episode with Monet being like, listen, I can use my white privilege to
Mhm.
get you guys whatever you need to carry through. Like, he has this just social awareness that's really fun to
Yeah.
watch. And I think now we finally get to kind of a place we've been wanting where him and Tariq are kind of on the same page. Kind of.
Yeah, even when he met with Kane and Monet and they brought up, Monet brought up the badge kind of thing and what was going on, Brayden took the blame for it and was like, yeah, I did that. That was my thing. Like that friendship
Yeah.
with Kane and Brayden, that is real. And I feel that it's real. Like there's something that's just so enjoyable watching these two characters go from kind of like not really understanding each other to more really understanding. I know Kane is playing it off like I can get this guy to do whatever I
Yeah.
want, but he knows that there's something that's very genuine between them, something that they both, really relate to within themselves and with each other.
I think it's respect in a way where I think, people look at Brayden, they just make these judgments about him. Even
Yeah.
Tariq, to some extent, makes these judgments about him. And Kane, he understands Brayden because I think he doesn't get any respect a lot of times from his own family. And so it's like, okay, they can both sort of see each other as underdogs within this world and that they can kind of operate together. Like, that doesn't mean that, Brayden's going to be more loyal to Kane than Tariq necessarily down the road, but it does create these conflicts that I do want to see sort of explored. Like, it's like a love triangle without the love. It's the friendship relatability triangle, though I need to come up with a better name than that. That didn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, because we did see that conversation at the end with Tariq and Brayden where
Yeah.
they both were very honest with each other. And Brayden told him right away, hey, listen, I met up with Monet and Kane and this is what happened and this is how it all played out. Like, I feel like there's been some growth with Brayden, yes, but also with Tariq in this episode. He really is opening up more to Brayden, and that he even said it to Effie where he's kind of like, I know that he didn't mean to do
Yeah.
it sort of thing, but is the loyalty kind of there? And yeah, it is there, but the communication had to happen. I think that the three of them are really on the same page now.
Finally,
Yeah.
the three musketeers of this show. Like, I think this is going to be really, really fun. But let's get into more of how we even got to all of this spot, which is Tariq's release from prison, because obviously we knew that he wasn't going to be behind bars for long. They can't leave him there. But here's the thing I'm starting to wonder. Rashad Tate, he is trying to become a congressman. He's not even a congressman yet, but the way that he happens to bandy about this like influence and have this ability to get things, they're acting like he's the freaking president or something with the, oh, I can magically place a judge on this court case that has the power to make it so that someone accused of killing a cop is going to be able to get out with an ankle bracelet. It is like, okay, you guys are making this happen like not even just a little too quick. You guys are like going 80 miles per hour in like a school zone with this.
Also, like, how many times can they say Rashad Tate and influence in the same sentence?
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's off. Okay, we get it.
Yes.
Like, we get it.
Yeah, you don't need to constantly like hit us over. You guys, you don't even need to call the Rashad Tate show Power Book 5 and you just call it influence and
Yeah.
just have that be it at this point.
Yeah, so Tariq is out on bail and, all that is fine. We saw him with that letter.
Yeah.
The letter
Yes.
from Ghost at the end of this that he actually shared with Effie. And I thought that was a really good moment as well, where
Yeah.
it was like, that's a lot of trust. And she, her response to that was kind of like, Tariq, you're like a really young guy. Like your story's not nearly over
Yeah.
yet. And that's true. And it really sat with him to the point that he was like, yeah, I'm still a young guy, like, and he burned up the letter.
Yeah.
And I think that that was a really important moment for him, especially after getting the visit from Kane in jail in his mind, of course,
Yeah.
where he really starts thinking about things and sort of who's to blame for him being in there. He's like, oh, it's Kane. And Kane's like, no, it's not Kane. Oh, it's Monet. No, it's not Monet. Like, really think about this.
Also, Tariq.
Kanan is the voice of reason. How is this happening?
It's a very strange world that we live in where Kanan is the voice of reason. But you know what? Good on you, Kanan, question mark. Also, good on you, Tariq, for just basically be like, I'm gonna set this on fire because you know what? Ghost, he may have been a compelling character to watch at times, but let's also point out a number of things. Ghost was cocky, Ghost was arrogant, Ghost was a criminal, Ghost was also a horrible father. Why do you even care about what Ghost has to say about you, Tariq?
I think it's just a tough situation. He's a very young guy. He can't get in contact with his mother, even though, Davis knows where she is and Saxe knows where she is. And she's been wanting to get in contact with Tariq. Tariq's been wanting to get in contact with her. And then, he killed his father. That's a really difficult spot for him to be in, no matter how mad he is as still his dad. It's all around tough.
It's a really tricky situation that he's going to have to navigate too moving forward, especially if he finds out more about what, Davis and Saxe are kind of keeping from him a little bit when it comes to Tasha. But okay, can we get into the Cooper Saxe corner here for a moment?
Sure.
You delightful moron. There's so much I gotta say about you in this episode. I mean, first and foremost,
which is interesting because he didn't really have that big of a role in this episode.
I can make a meal out of like a chicken strip of Cooper Saxe. And Cooper, for starters, I know you were a prosecutor for a long time, but I feel like it comes up at some point in law school that you're not supposed to ask your client if you're a defense attorney whether or not they're guilty. It's like, how the heck do you not understand how any of this works? How do you have to have like Davis checking you and humiliating you for your own idiocy?
Okay, Saxe knows the rules. He's aware of the rules. It's just, this is like, it's so personal for Saxe. Like, he should not be participating in anything to do with Tariq. Like, their relationship, it runs deep in a personal level. This just doesn't make any sense that he's on this. It really should be, okay, Saxe, you can do more sort of the paperwork type of stuff. And me, Davis, I'm going to do more of the talking to Tariq because your guys' relationship is too toxic and personal.
Saxe is also just like a total creep. Like, he was just like creeping outside of Jenny's office. And
he's trying to get information. Good for him, I guess.
She like comes outside and she's like, well, I wanted to see if you wanted to do something. And she's like, no, I'm busy. And then he's like, well, I'm busy too. And then he just, you were such a moron. I don't know why I like you, Saxe. Well, actually, I don't know if I like you. Maybe it's
you do.
There's just something terribly wrong with me. I can't wait until Power Book 6 Saxe comes out.
Oh, God.
No, okay,
let's talk about the Lorenzo stuff because we're 20 minutes in and we haven't spoken about the Lorenzo stuff, which is... I'm kind of, I guess there hasn't been enough of it yet. This is sort of our real first, like, getting in the ring with Lorenzo and seeing how he's working now that he's outside. And it's not working all the way for me yet. I mean, he's gotten out of jail. He thinks 10 years later, his, the guys he was working with are still going to be ready to rock with him. And that's not happening. They've moved on to other things. It's been a decade, guy. Like, come on. So he's, the wanting Diana to go to school, which is everything she wanted. But Monet has forced her to have to go to another school that she doesn't want to go to. And we know what Monet's doing. And so does Diana. But it's still kind of like, it's a big school. Like, why can't she go to where she wants? Like, it shouldn't be this messy. Then we've got everything with Drew, who does not really want to be part of this. But Lorenzo's like, he's my guy. He's my son. He's going to take over this business. And then we got Kane, who's like, hey, Dad, I am ready. I've got the connect. I've proven myself. I can do more than just being the enforcer. Look at what I've done. Here's my resume of stuff I have done while you have been in. And Lorenzo's like, That doesn't matter at all. Where it's like, no, it's gonna be Drew who has, gotten himself shot.
Okay, it's since we're 21 minutes in, it is time for the Power Book 2 Succession crossover here, because clearly Lorenzo is Logan Roy if Logan Roy had been in prison for 10 years. And,
I disagree.
Okay.
Logan Roy is so much more on the ball with stuff, and he is always 15 steps ahead. There is no comparison.
I am going
here, dude.
into Kane is clearly Kendall Roy, because Kane clearly thinks he's about to take over the whole thing, and Lorenzo is like, no, not happening, even though clearly Kane is more qualified, I think, and to do this, more interested than some other people. Yes, I understand that Logan is way more on the ball than Lorenzo.
And Kane even called this out, which I was like really glad he did, where he was just like, you haven't been around for 10 years. Like, you don't know what mom has been doing this whole time. You don't know how she's organized anything. You clearly don't even know what I've been doing during this time, because I've also done a lot, and we've all been moving this business forward in a direction that you haven't been involved in, that you do not understand. You can't just come out and think that everything is, going back to normal. It was like shown in the very first scene where Lorenzo is there with guys he used to roll with that are like, we moved on. We have our own stuff going on now. Sorry.
Lorenzo is just delusional. Like, that to me is what it kind of comes down to, in that he still is holding on to these old ideas. He's still holding on to these old preconceived notions. He's clearly like misogynistic, just telling Monet, I've got this now. Here, take this money. Just go shopping. He's just like, so he doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't even remotely get it.
No, he doesn't. But it's also kind of interesting because he ends up finding out that there was this exit plan that Monet has been putting together to try to get herself and her kids out of the business, that it was all going to be based on ZEKE, that he was going to get drafted, they were all going to work for ZEKE, and they were going to be out of the business. And then here comes Lorenzo being like, here's some money, you're retired, you don't have to do this anymore, which is what she wanted. She wanted to be out of the business, but she also wanted her kids out of the business. So it's put her in this really weird spot where she's kind of like, what do I do? Yes, I want to be out of the business. I want my kids to be also out of the business, which means I can't be out of the business until I get them out. Then there's like the whole Mecca of this all.
Yeah. I think what Monet values is, I think Monet values doing things on her terms. And I think she's in the position now where she's really just hamstrung by everything that's going on around her, because now you've got Lorenzo trying to make these decisions for her. Clearly, she has feelings for Mecca, but now she's in a situation where she kind of feels like she has to push Mecca away. And now she's telling Mecca that, ZEKE needs to focus on his playing career, so now he can no longer spend time with you at all. Like, clearly, this is not going to go over well with Mecca. Like, Mecca's not going to just suddenly be like, sure, I won't meet my son. I won't spend time with my son.
Yeah, I mean, Monet's got to know that that's not going to work. However, she's panicked. I mean, she's in a really tough spot of like, what is she gonna do now? Like, Lorenzo really is running her over, and she had an exit plan and now it's gone. And she had another exit plan with Mecca and now that's gone. And I think she just really doesn't know what to do, and she is really lost. But I mean, we've got all this stuff also that happened with Mecca where, Lorenzo told Kane, I want to know your connect. Basically being like, I'm going to cut you out so that you can just be the enforcer and do what I say. So we had this conversation with Kane and, Mecca, where he told him that. And Mecca was like, I don't need to meet him. Like, you're my guy. Yeah. You're going to be the person who's going to be the go-between. Forget it. And then we had that second conversation where Monet comes in and is like, Mecca, it's over. Nothing's going on. Stay away from ZEKE. Stay away from me. Moving on. And now Mecca's like, all right, I'll meet Lorenzo. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. It is going to be really good.
I'm so excited about this for so many different levels. Like, for starters, I've seen some theories out there, and of course, want to know from you guys about some of this. Like, is it possible that Lorenzo already suspects something with Zeke? Because I found their interaction in this episode to be really, really strange and really like something's going on there. And
yeah, the minute he was just like, welcome to the house, nephew. Like, I was just like, oh, he knows something is off.
Yeah, like, it's very, very suspicious what's going on there. And then you throw in Mecca, and you gotta think, okay, how much does Lorenzo really know about Mecca already? It's like, this feels to me like they're just gonna be sort of like two battering rams, like, on the top of a cliff, and one of them is gonna get knocked off. Like, here is a good hot take for 26 minutes into this episode video, or whatever this is. Okay. By the end of the next two episodes, I'm going to say that either Carrie, Lorenzo, or Mecca is dead. One of them is not going to be here by the season 2 finale. I am staking my claim on this right now.
Yeah, and I unfortunately think it's going to be Mecca, who right now, we've only really had Lorenzo for a full episode here.
Yeah.
He's sort of been, a background character. Mecca's the person I've gotten to know more, and he's a very strange but interesting dude. And like, his network is more interesting to me because Lorenzo doesn't really have a network. His network is left, and his network is his kids. He's got Drew, who doesn't really want to be in it, Kane, who does, and he's like, nah. And now Diana's going to school. It's kind of like, is that the networking sort of thing I want to see? Or do I want to see Monet over with Mecca and see how that ends up playing out? Because he may actually bring her into the business in a way that she has more enjoyment with. Because she just kind of got it thrown on her and was like, you have to deal with it while I'm gone. But once I'm back, I'm going to take it from you. Mecca might be a little more like, we're going to be in it together. And we're going to figure it out together.
I hope they kill Lorenzo. He feels to me like he's just sort of like
into him.
He's just a plot point. Like, it feels like he just exists in order to further this tension and that tension. Like, he has no real interest or existence on his own. Whereas Mecca, like you said, he's got the sushi chef dude. He's got like the apartment. He's got some cool stuff going on here. But
yeah, and there was this weird thing that I was just kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. So Diana tells Monet, I didn't tell you what I was doing with Dad because he asked me not to. And I'm kind of like, okay, that was already kind of strange that he was keeping it from her. But then when Diana tells him later, something really weird is going on with Mom. She doesn't seem that happy to have you back. Like, something's off. Lorenzo's like straight up like, what are you talking about? Everything is completely fine. She's so happy to have me back. I'm just like, well, then why were you hiding it from her that you were coming back? If you think everything is completely fine, like, the writing didn't connect there at all.
No, because go back to prison, Lorenzo, or go get killed off. Go to power, whatever the power afterlife is where Ghost is, and that's more than fine. 7. Okay, go to book 7.
With everyone who's dead, and we've got Ghost there, Kane and Lorenzo.
I love that you put it as book 7, because you're clearly still canonizing then that book 6 is Saxe.
That's right.
Okay, well, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. Like Jess said, we are here doing Power Book 2 after every episode, moving into Book 4. We will see you guys here next time.